everybody, and welcome back to the Hilltop Pillbox here in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. Here we are, about to begin turn 9 of Historical Board Gaming's Global War 1939 Ultra Edition. And things are very good for the Axis on one side and getting a little uh-oh on the other side. We're going to start with the good side for the Axis. Yes, that's the Pacific Ocean. The Americans had a big fleet out here, and I stress had because that fleet is now a diving reef off the coast of San Francisco. Yes, that did not go well for the Americans. They actually took out a lot of Japanese stuff, but there's still this much left. And the Americans just don't have the desire to put boats in the water, especially with 9 subs lurking nearby, or 8 subs lurking nearby, as well as some other things that can make it there. So, good chance that Hawaii's going to fall next round. The Americans could pile in, well, it's too late now, I guess, but they could have only put in a medium bomber and a fighter, and I just don't think that's going to be enough for what the Japanese can bring. The Japanese now have 1, 2, 3, 4 transports in range carrying 7 units, and they've also got 4 fighters, and they got some bombards, so they're able to cause some real grief. Hawaii's going to fall. In China here, the Japanese have begun to take back, but without sticking their neck out too far. Right? They took Korea back from the Soviets and Dalian and Shanxi from the commies, and kind of just testing the waters a little bit, and took back Shantung and Kwangtung and Hong Kong from the KMT. And the KMT, of course, if they get anywhere near this nonsense, it's lights out. So built another 5 guys, but this turn they only collected $11. So their economy is starting to fracture. Japanese are building in Siam now, and they lost their factory in Peking and haven't rebuilt it yet. I figured they're not really under threat up there at this point. Over here, status quo in the Middle East. Neither side has enough to take out the others, so just decided to hold the line. In Africa, the Allies are encroaching upon Tobruk and are hoping to possibly assail it next round. The Italians have really tried to debate as to whether or not to get rid of the military base in there, but knowing that the British have one here and built there this turn, I don't think one more is really going to make that big of a difference, especially when they have a factory in Cairo. Could build another one in Alexandria. Speaking of the Italians, they have not had a good game. They now have resorted to turtling in Rome, and here's why. This fighter went out to attack this lone Canadian transport, and the fighter rolled a 9 or a 10 or something, and the Canadian transport that had taken Sicily just a few moves earlier shot back and took down the Macchiati fighter. So the Italians now are without air cover. They do have a couple fighters down here, and I thought of flying them back to Rome, but if I did, Tobruk will definitely fall this way. There might actually be a chance to hold it, and if you can hold and maybe even withstand, you hang on to your fortification there, you hang on to your factory, and maybe you can make things last a little longer here. But they're turtling here because the Allies, they're bringing it. All this stuff you see here is in Bordeaux, but all this stuff you see here is in Marseille. So the Germans lost $3 there, as well as any chance for the Vichy to help them out. So now what's happening here is, if we take a look, and this is what I really like about this map, is Paris right now is outnumbered by the Allies. The Allies could go in and take it. But the Germans could say, you know what, we're going to hold Paris, so they send everything into Paris. But then the Allies in Marseille, they could decide to go up to Reims and take that. Now, Reims does have a fortification, but if it's pretty much going to be empty or just some infantry in there, the Allies can definitely take it. And then they're next door to West Germany, which is next door to Berlin, which obviously doesn't have a lot of stuff in it right now. But the Allies could also say, no, we're going to go into here. So you can see that the Italians scorched earth everything in Turin. Took out the factory and took out the... Oh, this guy's probably would have moved down there. Took out everything in Turin, the air base and naval base. So it's just a hulking ruin right now. And so the Allies will likely go there and then try to take out Italy. If they can take out Italy, that's probably, well, I'd say it was going to spell doom, but it really doesn't. And we're going to talk about why. So over here, the British were built 10 more units, pardon me, to transport over next turn. And the Americans are going to be bringing over a heap of love and affection coming over, including a couple of attack transports, which probably won't figure into it because the Germans are likely going to stay off the coast for the most part. So I say it doesn't really matter if Italy falls. And I'm going to tell you why. This game is based on victory cities. And a level 1 or a very minor victory for the Axis is to have 12 victory cities at the end of turn 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to count up the victory cities and see what they've got. All right, so Paris for 1, Berlin for 2, Rome for 3, Warsaw for 4. Oh yeah, Leningrad fell, and pretty easily. It's 5. Moscow is 6, and Stalingrad fell. That's 7. Okay, so that's 7 that the Axis have on this side of the board. So let's go over and see how the Japanese are doing. Remember, we need 12 at the end of 2 more turns. So we have Calcutta for 1, Singapore for 2, Hong Kong for 3, Manila for 4, Shanghai for 5, and Tokyo for 6. Okay. So that is 13. So they've got what they need. Right? But if Rome falls, that'll knock them down to 12. They still have what they need. Especially since Hawaii is likely going to fall this next round, and the Americans now have nothing to take it back. That's why I did the attack with the Japanese. I thought, boy, if we can take out that Navy, that's it. Hawaii will be great. So when they take Hawaii, it's going to fall. That'll be 14 victory cities, which means that the Allies will need to take back 3 of them in the next 2 turns. Now, there's 2 that they can likely get to, Rome and Paris. Now, whether or not they have the horses to take both, time will tell. But those are the only 2 that they can really get to at this time. So I'm not really sure if the Allies actually have a chance to win this game right now, because they have to do it in 2 turns, turn 9 and turn 10. So all of this stuff here that's going to come across will land here and can attack Paris the next round. And all of this stuff here can come down and try to take out Rome in the next 2 rounds. And that'll be a very telling thing. So they need to take out 3 though. So let's say they take Paris and they take Rome. They still lose the game. So are there any other places they could come? Well, I built 3 transports here with the British, hoping to go and put some pressure on Rome. But now what I might need to do is take these transports, come up here, go 1, 2, 3. Oh, you know what? It's not even good enough that way, so I might have to go... Okay, so the only way that I could possibly take Calcutta back, the only way I could do it would be to build a naval base here, bring these transports up here, pick up all 6 guys, go 1, 2, 3, and assail Calcutta. But now that I know that, this navy here is going to go 1, 2, 3, and probably take these fighters, 1, 2, 3, and they can land there. And this tank can make it back, the infantry can make it back, these guys can start coming back. Yeah, so that would be the only shot. It'd be the only shot that I can see. If you see something else, leave it in the comments below. But if the Italians continue to roll like this and get rolled on like that, it's going to be a pretty unfun end to this game. But again, the Axis have done very well, and it's pretty equal for the heavy lifting, right? Like, nobody's lifting more than the other. The Japanese look like they're just running amok here, but they also have fewer enemies. The Germans now have been facing almost 100% of the American assault this game, almost, and they're feeling it. So, we're going to do round 9. And at the end of round 9, we'll take stock and see if it's even feasible for round 10 for the Allies to wrest victory from the jaws of defeat. And you know what? We're going to film that right now. So you're going to get a 2 for 2 for 2 for 1. Here we go. What's Italy going to look like at the end of this round? All right, after some careful soul searching and mathematical figuring and whatnot, I have decided to call it. And not because Italy won't fall, it may, but I brought some Germans over on their turn to just kind of harass here and have some fun disrupting. They'll all die, but maybe they'll take out 5 or 6 of these troops. The Italians have 18 bucks. They can put in 6 more guys, so that, it might actually hold, right? And I was thinking actually of putting in instead of the guys building a fortification there, but that's what we got. Paris is well and truly stacked here. Highly unlikely for it to fall anytime. You can see all the fighters are in there. You've got a fortress. You got about 45, 650 units in there, and they just don't have enough to take it. And again, even if they did, and they took Rome, there's a third, and this is mathematically nigh impossible to take and hold. Paris. Now, over here is the one spot that the Russians had a chance. So I brought this stuff over thinking, hey, maybe we'll cause some grief here. And on the German turn, the Germans saw this, so they brought a bunch of tanks over here. And the Russians brought stuff over here. So on this turn, now all these tanks and everything can come down to here, load up. I built a fortification there last round. And actually, we'd probably attack this. We'd just bring these tanks right here and smash that. And that's that, folks. There's just really no way for the Allies to get this done. So, sorry, it's a fairly anticlimactic round. I know some people might have been saying, hey, bring all the Chinese in and smashy smash. Well, the Japanese came and did a spoiling attack on this stack. Japanese are all gone, except for Buddy here in the Siamese factory. But since the Chinese, as a rule state, can only come into here, Buddy's okay. And I didn't do it on my turn, but the Japanese could pull back. And again, the British, could come over here. But even then, 1, 2, 3, they could come here. But by then, the Japanese are going to be sitting here with their fleet. And 4 transports can't come in to where there's even 1 surface warship. So, Honolulu, boom. Fell hard, killed 1 Japanese guy. So the 2 guys, 1 guy got a hit. And that was that. So, it's well and truly over, folks. That is 14 cities, possibly down to 12, possibly. And again, that's highly unlikely. But to get to 11, it's just not in the cards for the Allies. So it's an Axis victory. And I hope you have enjoyed it. I'm going to start prepping for my visit up to Prince George to the Sky Marshals tournament. Be the 3rd year in a row I'm going, and I've got to learn how to play version 4 of 1936. I have been fortunate enough that I had a couple of really good partners my first 2 years, Madman Dan the first year and Moose last year, and was able to win both tables. That really fortunate time, and yeah. Now, this time I'm going to be commentating, so I won't have any partners, so it's going to be all on me. So, I am going to have to do some studying on that. But, also, just a reminder that in August 18th to 21st, we have Historical Board Gaming's Northern Lights Tournament, the first ever. And we are going to be handing out some pretty big prizes, folks. I'll be doing a video on that shortly. Probably in the next week or 2, I'll put up a video showing you all the prizes and all the swag we're going to be giving away to people who come and participate in that. And there's some substantial stuff coming, folks. So please contact me at hilltoppillbox@gmail.com to register starting June 1st, which is just in a couple of days here. It's not too long now, next week. And please do that as soon as you can. Starting June 1st, we'll get you signed up. It's a $50 registration fee, Canadian, so don't let that scare off you Americans. That's about 35 bucks American or so. and that'll just help us pay for the rental and the insurance. Obviously these things cost money. So, and if you do fly into Abbotsford, as I've been saying, I will be your personal Uber driver. I will pick you up at the airport and shuttle you to the venue and your hotel. So you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Of course, you could hire Uber if you want, but Hilltop Pillbox is there. We got you covered. Be great to have you here in Abbotsford in August. But if you can't make it, just keep playing with your friends. All these great games. Keep making the community grow and help encourage each other so that these games continue to get better and better, more and more variety, and just a fantastic gaming environment for everyone. So, until next time, thank your friends for playing. Hug your loved ones, even if they didn't quite, roll very well. And as always, may those dice be with you.